Today I want to talk about Domani Jackson committing to USC over Ohio State, Michigan, and others, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about 2022 USC cornerback commit Domani Jackson. This is one of the best players in the entire country. And of course, the number one player in the state of California, number one player at corner. Domani, all of 6'1", $185. As my father would say, put together. You know, like one of them action figures, like one of them WWE superstars, or as many of y'all might know, WWF superstars, or even WCW back when we had Booker T, you know, saying stuff he probably shouldn't have. And then we had Scott Steiner out there with the pythons. Look, I think that this dude 100% can go and play right away at USC. He'd be fine today, quite honestly. He's got tremendous footwork going back. Like, he's got great straight line speed. He's got to clean it up around playing zone. But, you know, when you go to modern day, you kind of get to do what you want because you're going to be able to outclass almost everybody but St. John Bosco and maybe like Cal Poly in a good given year. Anyway, I thought that Domani Jackson committing to USC over Ohio State, Michigan was, one, going to break a lot of Buckeye hearts because there were some folks that believed that he was going to join Jaheim Singletary in that 2022 class. And it is the number one 2022 class, and by some margin right now, Ohio State. But the thing that I thought was most interesting about Domani, well, it's actually three things. First one was, these are the kind of recruits, or he is the kind of recruit, that USC is getting when they're doing well. Clay Helton has snatched Corey Foreman and Domani Jackson in less than a month, right? Corey Foreman, the number one player in the country, class of 2021. He's going to join Drake Jackson on that line, and I think USC has an opportunity to be good. They also got Chris Steele out there at corner, which means that if Steele stuck around for a fourth year, you could see Domani Jackson and Chris Steele lining up at corner, which is sick. Dante Williams been doing an absolute job helping put together this class. And one of the things that I thought was also interesting about what Domani had to say was he thinks that with the class that they put together last year and the class they're going to put together this year, USC can go win a national championship. That's the headline, right? USC would be in a position to win national championships because they're good with Miller Moss at quarterback. They are going to get, hopefully, a magic year out of Keaton Slovis. Losing Amon-Ra St. Brown, losing Talanoa Hulafunga, losing, Marquis Step, though I know that there are a bunch of USC fans who are like, he didn't really play. He played enough for me. I mean, I watched too many of y'all's games. Like, I watched way too many USC games. But those are the kind of players that they get from modern day, from the LA area. If USC only roped off Southern California, it would be a perennial top 10 team, just on talent alone. Which also led me to another observation. One of the stories that Reggie Bush told me when he's on the radio show, like maybe a year and a half ago, is that he was not going to USC. He wasn't even entertaining USC because USC wasn't a squad, right? That dude needed Ed Orgeron to come through and convince him to take a visit to see Pete Carroll's USC. Of course, he becomes one of the greatest college football players of all time and a Heisman winner. But that wasn't always the case, and I feel like we were back in that spot where kids didn't commit to USC that were five stars that could go anywhere in the country they wanted to go. And yet, with Corey Foreman and Domani Jackson, you've seen both of those things occur. USC could be building towards something. It's actually one of those programs that I think is perhaps on the come up, like one that everybody should be paying attention to in the next couple of years. But they also just played in the Pac-12 championship game, so I don't know how much truth you can actually put into that statement as they're not somebody's paying attention to or on their come up, like, say, West Virginia, right? I think West Virginia has an opportunity to be really good too, and depending on who Tennessee is able to hire as head coach, there's reason for optimism there. But like West Virginia, I think, is the same boat of a Missouri, right? They're getting dues. Like Mookie Cooper is at Missouri. Ryan Walters, defense coordinator, was there, and they replaced him with Steve Wilkes, right, who's a former NFL head coach, let alone defensive coordinator. They got dudes. Connor Bazelak is a dude, right? USC has got dudes, right? I mentioned Keaton Slovis, Drake London, Brew McCoy, Chris Steele. they get some outstanding play up front, and they will, they're going to be money in the South. I think it's really between them and Utah, who's another team I would put in that group with West Virginia and Missouri as somebody you should be paying attention to here in the next year, 2 years, to really take the leap forward and to be about it. I think Tulsa is also one of those programs. Like I listed them in the way too early top 25. But another thing that I like about Domani Jackson is that dude ran 4.5 seconds in the 40-yard dash, 4.5, as a true freshman. He's liable to drop 0.15, 0.2 off of that by the time he is draft eligible, which is ridiculous. And if they can teach him how to use his footwork to his benefit, they get a little bit more lateral quickness out of him. He's from the islands, okay? And by from the islands, I don't mean like from a physical island. I mean, he is from that cornerback country called the islands, where we can put dudes out on an island by themselves, run single high, run man across. We can even send everybody after quarterback, put it out, can cover zero. And I still know that you're probably not going to challenge Domani Jackson. It's the Patrick Surtain effect, right? It's the Champ Bailey effect. It's the Darrelle Revis effect, where we just look over that dude and we see him there. And, well, it's the Deion Sanders effect, right? The first dude to actually make that a thing, where we just decide that's a no-fly zone. Wherever he's lined up, we just can't go with the football. And that's what Domani Jackson can bring to USC. I think for the Buckeyes, yeah, this one stings, but it don't hurt, right? I mean, Jeff Hafley was great at recruiting corners and safeties when he was there. Kerry Combs is just as good at it. You're going to have dudes like Ryan Watts, who I'm very high on, and I want him to have an opportunity to compete for that starting job next year. I think he has the goods to be a great one. I really love him in space, and to be so long and to be that agile is uncommon. All right, before we get out of here, update everybody on the NCAA 14 situation. I have it. I procured a PS3, and I am doing the updates to the system itself, but I'm having a hard time with the hen and the multi-man and just trying to figure out exactly what I got to get on what USB drive and where it's got to come from. I even was like locked out of my PlayStation Network account. It's been tough, so bear with me. We'll mess with the capture card. We'll mess with the HDMI splitter, and we'll try to figure out if we can't get some of that gameplay up. I'm not going to live stream this. I'm just not. Like, I yell at video games enough as it is. I am going to give myself the benefit of editing this. I'm just not going to. Nah, man. I mean, I thought about it with Twitch, but like, I get that it's entertaining for everybody else to see me lose my mind, but that's not necessarily something that I want to do in public right now. Plus, I'm still like, I picked up this game literally for the first time today since 2013, because I didn't have NCAA 14. It's been years. Like, and my best friend Ron and I have been talking about, you know, how he might have to get done up, how I might have to put him on Front Street. Yeah, Ron, I said it. I said it. I said it. But you know what? He ain't been over here to catch these hands. But, you know, we'll handle that. We'll handle that. Offline, we'll handle that. All right, that's it for me. Deuces. I love you, Ron.